Guys, Ben Schueren here. This is another Ben Schueren Sports Extravaganza. Sorry I didn't do one last Wednesday. Two problems ran up. One, I didn't have enough time to do it down in Atlanta. I was visiting for a vacation. And two, there wasn't really that much to talk about. So, let's get to today's show. AJ Allmendinger. The results have come in. He failed the drug test. It came back positive, and he will be suspended indefinitely by NASCAR. What does this mean for the future of him at Penske? I don't know. Roger Penske, like I said last week, he's considering it, but I think he will let AJ go because 1 year contract and with the whole drug test thing, it's not going to be pretty for AJ. So I would expect maybe in the next week or so to see Roger Penske releasing a statement saying that AJ Allmendinger has been released from his contract. Now, for AJ's standpoint, AJ will have to go through the substance abuse policy as every other driver who failed the drug test in NASCAR. Now, this is pretty big news in NASCAR. It's going to bring up a lot of headlines because this is the first failed drug test since Jeremy Mayfield's back in 2009. Of course, I don't think it is as big of a consent or extent as Jeremy Mayfield's, as Jeremy did all the methamphetamines and stuff, but it's still pretty big when a driver gets suspended in NASCAR. So, AJ has released a sentence. He's pretty much saying, thanks for the support. I've been reading it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get back on the track, whatever it does. And it wasn't a PR thing. AJ also twittered because he kind of made some spelling mistakes. His heart was racing after he just failed his drug test. So, moving on for the to the future of Penske racing. Sorry, I was about to say motorsports. With Sam Hornish will be in the car, Pocono, and Indianapolis. So there'll be the next 2 weeks. You will be seeing Sam Hornish in the 22 car. Now, I'm kind of puzzled to see who will be replacing Hornish as they have the Nationwide Series, he's got some commitments there. I know there's some spin-off races like Montreal. So, that's gonna be interesting. Plus, I think Sam has 4 more races scheduled in the 12, so it's gonna be interesting to see who's in that. I'm suspecting maybe David Rudiman. He's not tied down by Tommy Baldwin. So we could be seeing some him in that 22 car. So, the future of Penske racing, sorry, motorsports again. After this year, there's pretty much a few candidates for this ride. It is obviously Sam Hornish is one of them. Looks like Joey Logano may be another if he is not re-signed by Joe Gibbs, pending Matt Kenseth, going to that 20 car or the fourth car Joe Gibbs Racing. Or there is Trevor Bayne, who will be or can be released from his contract from Roush after this year. So I would probably look to see. I'm not sure if Sam Hornish is quite fit for the job. Uh, I'm sure Penske, if all possible, could bring up a third car with Sam Hornish Jr., but I would not want to see that because Sam, he didn't have enough success in the first time he was running in the Sprint Cup Series for me to have him come back in the 22 and be successful. So, from the silly season standpoint, there's also I'm maybe looking at Ryan Newman as a possible fourth candidate, as U.S. Army is leaving him for sponsorship, and he is quite down on sponsorship now. Unless they can be finding a primary sponsor, I would look to see if Ryan Newman may be released from Stewart-Haas Racing, which could open the door maybe for Kurt Busch or someone else to come in, maybe Elliott Sadler to move up and to go into that second Stewart-Haas ride, because I would think Tony Stewart could get a sponsorship for that. But anyway, the future of Kurt Busch now. Kurt Busch, obviously, it was not good news for him when Michael Andretti announced that his Sprint Cup program, there wouldn't be enough time to put it together for next year, which Kurt Busch was speculated to go there and drive next year. I hate to see this happen because, I want to see Kurt Busch back to a competitive level, even though he's not really the best racer in the public eye. The one thing I find troubling for Kurt Busch would be sponsorship. I mean, he can't even get enough sponsorship to put, a brand name on the rinky dink car he drives today, let alone how will he do that for Stewart Haas Racing or potentially Michael Andretti Autosport. Now, the thing with Michael Andretti, it brings up another problem. Dodge. Dodge is running out of time to find a team. They struck out with Richard Petty Motorsports. Obviously they could go to Furniture Road with pretty much with Regan Smith. I guess that's a quality team. Not really, in my opinion, though. But Dodge has the Penske engine program now, so it's not like they're gonna be producing crappy engines. They're going to be producing some pretty good engines, as you see. Brad Keselowski, he's won 3 races. Kurt Busch won 2 races last year in the 22 car. I mean, they've won pretty good amount of races. I think, let's see, doing the math, it'd be 8 races in the last 2 years. So it's not like they're producing poor engines. They're just not getting the teams, obviously, with Penske leaving. That's a huge blow to the Dodge camp. So, the candidates still look for look to be Earnhardt Ganassi, obviously Furniture Rose I mentioned, and maybe Front Row or someone like that. Dodge is running out of time. They need to make something happen quick, or they will be out of a Sprint Cup team. Now, what about Robbie Gordon, you ask? Well, Robbie Gordon has only run 3, 4 races this year. He wasn't full time like last year, where you figured, okay, having 3 or 4 Dodges on the track last year wasn't as bad. Well, this year it's pretty bad because we only have 2 Dodges racing, with the third part time being Sam Hornish Jr. So, moving on, going back to the Kurt Busch thing, he has been shown interest at Richard Childress Racing, which I don't think a fourth car will be opened up for him, as it would be saved for Austin Dillon in the future. So I'm kind of looking at that statement. Richard Childress not being there. Joe Gibbs saying he'd love to have him there. That's pretty much done. That rumor's gone because Joey Logano, unless they want to, ditch Logano for Kurt Busch, which I don't see why you would do that. But unless they wanna ditch Logano for Kurt Busch, I don't see him happening. I mean, Kurt Busch wouldn't bring the sponsorship that Logano could potentially bring. As if Logano would go to the third car, I would see maybe Dollar General being the full-time sponsor there, with maybe another sponsor backing him up. So, Indianapolis preview. I'm picking Jeff Gordon to win the race just because Jeff knows his way around the Brickyard. I think he has the most wins at Indianapolis. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, Jeff Gordon. Even though we haven't seen the practice speeds yet, it is only Wednesday. They really only unload tomorrow, but they started practice. But I think Jeff Gordon's gonna get his first win, and that could bounce around maybe at Pocono for him getting the second and crucial win of the season. He needs 2 wins to get in the chase. Obviously, there are two people who really need wins right now. It's Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon. Maybe even Kyle Busch, because, Kyle Busch, he's slipping in this wild card thing. Casey Kane's got the first wild card. All of a sudden, Kyle Busch doesn't have the leverage of, dropping one spot in the wild card. So, that'll just about wrap it up for today. I'm Ben Schueren. Next week, we'll probably do a Monday show, recapping Indianapolis, coming on some storylines. We may know more about the AJ Allmendinger instance. Again, he has failed his B drug test, making him suspended indefinitely. So it'll be interesting to see how the storyline unfolds. So we'll see you next week.